Hello, welcome to PCMag Live. I'm Dan Costa here with Max Eddy, and we've got a great show for you today. We're going to talk about the top tech news of the day. We're going to answer one of your reader questions and show you one cool thing, all in 10 minutes. All in 10 minutes.
Pressure's on, Dan.
Let's talk about the first biggest story of the day. This story, it's funny, the more I learn about this story, the bigger it becomes. The Heartbleed OpenSSL developments and breach. It's not even really a breach, it's a massive hole in the internet.
Yeah, we were talking with analyst Famita Rashid, and she was breaking down to us why this is a huge problem. We're going to have a lot more on what it is and what you can do about it, but we're seeing a lot of companies and major organizations, how they're dealing with it. Right now, we've heard about how the Canadian Revenue Agency has shut down e-file for taxes for this entire weekend. Your taxes, Canadians, are due on April 30th, but you will not be able to do anything about it this weekend. So
imagine you could still mail them in, but you can't use the internet to conduct that transaction.
Can you really trust the mail? That's a good question. The Register is reporting that potentially malicious servers could be set up to grab data from smartphones and laptops. This is really pushing it down to like the end user. They haven't really been targeted in this so far. They're saying, the Register is saying, this could be a problem we're dealing with until 2020, and I would say possibly even further. It's a huge problem.
It's basically the OpenSSL is used in 66% of all websites online, and it is the locked box in all of your browsers. It is the fundamental security tool that is used for commerce sites, for shopping sites, even for B2B, for business VPN systems.
And we don't want to get too in depth with this, but from our discussions, it sounds like SSL and encryption, they all still work. These are all still powerful tools, but because of a coding error, there's a deep flaw that can affect legacy data mostly. But again, more on this later.
More on that later, and you can read more on PCMag.com. Also, the news today: Facebook is doing away with chat in its primary application, forcing users to download Messenger for messaging. I don't use Facebook on my phone very much. This doesn't really affect me very much. Why are people so agitated about this?
Because it's change, and people get really pissed off when there's change in Facebook. Thinking back to like 2004, 2005, 2006, those simple changes then, people flipped out, and they're going to flip out every time there's a change here. What's interesting to me is why Facebook is doing this. Facebook is playing catch-up on mobile in a really big way. So they want you to have one of their apps on your phone. So they're going to take all their services, break it down, they're going to buy services like WhatsApp, and they're going to get those on your phone. Because Facebook is a data company, data comes from people, and people are on mobile. And frankly, I don't think this is a big problem. The Facebook Messenger app is actually much better than messaging in the Facebook app itself. And you get adorable Pusheen stickers, my favorite feature.
Evidently. I don't even know what that means. Moving on.
It's called the internet, Dan.
It is. I've heard of it, but I'm afraid to use it because it's so insecure. Finally, the news today that France has enacted a ban on work-related emails outside of office hours. If it's after 6 p.m., your boss will not be allowed to email you. This is a story that affects me. It affects me viscerally because I am an offender here. I get some really productive emails done at night, and my staff hates it.
Well, I'm actually the opposite here. I have disabled push notifications for all of my work-related apps on my phone.
So you're not getting any of my emails?
I don't get any of your emails until I look for them. And it's kind of strange that the French ban, because I think it's being a little bit overblown here. It only affects 1 million people in very specific circumstances.
Union members, right?
Union members. And there are similar laws, like France's 35-hour work week and has since 1998. Other companies have bans about when you can call people, when you can actually conduct business. We're getting to a point with business and with personal life where we're all using the same technology, and now we're asking questions about where does your job end? Where does your life begin? I think it's important to have those discussions. I'm not sure if the blanket bans are how to do it.
And this is, I had to read this from the union agreement. They're saying that employees will also have some responsibility here. Employees will have to resist the temptation to look at work-related material on their computers or smartphones or any other kind of malevolent intrusion into the time that they have been nationally mandated to spend on whatever the French call la dolce vita.
I mean, malevolence is really the key word there. Think about that next time you write an email.
I don't send malevolent emails at any time.
Sent a good email after 11 p.m.,
no,
really?
Nothing good happens on email after 11 p.m. Wait till the next day. Let's move on to a reader question now. We can send us reader questions on Facebook, on Twitter, via email. This question actually comes in via email, and it is a question from Chris, and he wants to know, how can he protect himself from Heartbleed? We've got some bad news for you, Chris.
There's really not a whole lot you can do. This is a much bigger issue for companies and anyone that stores network data, network traffic data, encrypted data that's just sort of sitting around, and which is unfortunately just about everyone at this point, those people have a lot to worry about. As an end user, your main concern is changing passwords, but only on websites where the websites have actually fixed the Heartbleed issue. We recommend LastPass as a password manager, and it's really great for managing your passwords in general, but they've updated their security check tool. It will go in there and tell you of all your saved passwords, which sites have fixed this Heartbleed problem. They'll tell you whether you should wait to change your password or to change it right now. You can access it by going onto LastPass and going to Tools and then hitting Security Check. Of course, it relies on you to have all that data already in there, so I would recommend you talk to look at Jill Duffy's Get Organized article on how to use a password manager effectively.
Yeah, so there's not a whole lot you can do, but
not a whole lot.
Probably a good password management is still going to be a benefit here.
This is really all end users can do. This is being pushed down to the deeper levels of the internet and the higher ups that actually run the internet. It's going to be an ongoing story.
Yeah, engineers need to fix this problem.
Exactly.
Let's move on to one cool thing. We test thousands of products here in our lab in New York City. Every day we take one thing off the shelf and show it to you live on air. This just got into the office yesterday, I think. We've printed exactly one thing with it. It is the BeetheFirst 3D printer. It is $2,500. It's distributed by Dynamism, which has a lot of great 3D printing products. And this is our first test product that we've printed out. We usually do a Yoda head so we can compare against all the other 3D printers.
It's very wrinkly. It's a very complex
It's a little
thing.
wrinkly. We probably haven't mastered the art of using this printer yet, so if there's any quality issues there, we'll find those out over time. But overall, it's a very elegant design. It's easy to set up. It's got proprietary software. You see the PLA package right here inside, the spools built in. A handy carrying case. You always need that in a 3D printing product.
Always.
So a very interesting device, and we're testing a lot of these. We'll have to wait and see how its quality compares to some of the other stuff, but so far, so good.
What I like about this one is that it looks really, really nice. A lot of the 3D printers either look like something you cobbled together in your garage or something that came off the shelf 20 years ago at a microwave store. Like, this looks really cool. It's got all these lights on it. It's something you would show off. It's high technology that looks like high technology.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll wait for a full review. Tony Hoffman is testing it. We have to go give this back to him right now. He was not too happy with us stealing it from him in the middle of the day. That's PCMag Live for today. I want to thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with a brand new show. And remember to hit us up in the comments section. We will answer those questions on air. Thanks for joining us.
So long.